Welcome back to, well, basically, this is another one of these Tokusatsu in 2024. Yes, Tokusatsu review of this particular year. Now, last year I did Tokusatsu anime in 2023, but I'm still got a couple more anime coming up, so that's probably the reason why I haven't got that one done yet. So basically, because we're getting close to the end of the year, I figured that why not do this video now. I will be doing it probably the next couple days. Uh, Things wrong, Comic Con related for this year, and the good things for this year. We'll do it in the future, don't worry about that. So for this particular year, this is a quite interesting year because I've covered more series in two different one of the four basically I cover than I have in the previous years. Take for example, Super Sentai for example. I finished up this year 7 Sentai series. 7. Though I did start the year out by finishing up Kaku Ranger. Yep, I finished that one. And it's kind of the same thing with Jasmine when I started next year, which, yeah, that's happened before. So basically, for Sentai this year, mostly put, it was just like finishing up the last Sentai, which I started when they're finished, and I also finished all the movies that I had watched previously, but never reviewed them before. Yep, I officially got all those cut. I got those done this year. So the Sentai series covered this year, which is basically 7 of them. I covered Hurricane Ranger, Go Busters, Abba Ranger, Deca Ranger, Magi Ranger, Kyo Ranger, and Kyroger. And of course, for the films, this is quite interesting when it comes to films because there was a few films this year where I basically reviewed where I watched them, but never reviewed before. Like there is Hurricane Ranger versus Gal Ranger, Abba Ranger versus Hurricane Ranger, Deca Ranger versus Abba Ranger. There was also Go Busters versus it was Go Busters versus Gokaiger, Bokenger versus Super Sentai. I don't think what it was there. There was the Kyroja versus Go Busters Farewell to Working Our Friends. We have that one. And the last one I covered, which of course I had to cover anyways, which was Tokuja versus Kyroja. I decided to cover this one purely because basically just to get it all done. And it is quite nice the fact that I have officially covered all of the movies I had previously seen. Like, there was like a good 10, 12 movies I had seen, but never seen before. And now, this year, I got them all done. I can basically move forward, start next year, with series I've never seen before. No, so future we'll be discussing that point next year. What point? Discuss this. Discuss that basically at a later point in time. In the case of Kamen Rider, I did do one series this year. I did watch a few episodes of. Well, I did do Kamen Rider 4Z. Love that series. It was amazing. Agato, I did start, but didn't finish it. Due to the fact I got bored after the first few episodes, I basically just lost interest in it. So I decided just put it aside, watch it later. First time I did it for any of these series, and of course I did watch at least one episode of Kamen Rider X-Aid, purely because basically it had crossover with Kyroja. Excuse me. That was simply the reason for it. Yep. Which I found that to be interesting. Yeah. And also, with this particular year, I finished up basically the last Sentai that aired in the 20th century, which also happened to be the last Sentai for the 1980s. Isn't that by sheer coincidence where the first Sentai I covered was from the 1980s, and the last one I covered was from the 1980s, 20th century, which is awesome. I also pretty much closed out the 2000s this year. Yes, I did. I finished up Hurricane Ranger, Abba Ranger, Deca Ranger, and Magic Ranger. I finished up these 4 series. I think it was that decade as well. So this year I closed out 2 decades when it came to Super Sentai, which, for me personally, that's accomplishment. And I forgot to mention this when I finished up Kyroger. Finishing that one means I had basically about 38 reviews so far. Out of 48. Yep, 48. So, yes, I do know there's a boom on right now. I will not get that to some point later. I could move it up. It's possible because it's wrapping up in just a couple months. I might move it up. But as of now, for that particular franchise, I have 10 Sentai left. 10. Which means, do I think possibly I could put the franchise behind me next year? At least cut it up? I might get pretty close next year. Now, Kamen Rider, I don't think so. But I might be thinking of getting pretty close to that one. In the case of Metal Heroes, the previous couple years, I only had time to cover 1 series the entire freaking year. This year I did 4, which that is a record. Though I didn't finish it, Jaspion because I'm on break from it. But I'm quite happy with the fact I finished the 4 shows. I finished the Space Zero Trilogy, obviously. And when I finish the Jaspion, I have one more Heroes of the Show era. Overall, when I finish up this particular show, I will have a total number of, I think it's like 9 Metal Hero series left. And I think there's a strong possibility that next year I could put behind me Metal Heroes. It's possible. But sadly put, in the case of the Ultra franchise, I sadly only had time to cover 1, Ultra 7. And that was sadly it, though I did close in 60s without 1, which is awesome. But didn't get a chance to cover more this year because I didn't finally cover that until like just a few months ago. Yeah, and almost exactly 1 year after I covered the previous show. Which, hopefully next year that might change. Who knows? But I haven't thoroughly enjoyed reviewing all these shows. I would say the one... also, it's something interesting, though. I kind of put behind me all of the Gokaiger tribute episodes. I finished up that this year. And my last one I did got me my highest viewed video of the entire year at 1,500 views. I've never had a video go that high. And the previous video, second highest at like a little over 1,000. I was shocked to see that, and that's the reason why I decided to move up a couple of Sentai series because of that. Which I'm very appreciative about that, because it gave me a chance to cut more done. Though sadly put, because of all the Sentai cover this year, I didn't get a chance to cover more of the other franchises. Though I'm pretty sure those Metal Heroes got more than one done this year, which is awesome. But sadly put, Kamen Rider did not get a chance to do more than just finish up 1. Though there is one coming up next year. Yes, there will be. I believe the next one I said was was O's. Yes. That will be the first Kamen Rider series I cover next year will be O's. For Sentai series we cover will be King Andre. That'll be the first one to cover. Metal Heroes, finish this one. I'll reveal what the next one's going to be when I finish this one up. But Ultraman, basically, the first one to cover for that one will be the Return of Ultraman. Yes. Yeah, sadly put, basically that's how it is. It is quite interesting, though. And also, kind of in the way I did with covering Schneider, Metallider, and Spielbahn, I effectively covered all the series that was adapted for VR Troopers. Yes, that is an accomplishment of mine this year. Which I'm very appreciative of them, which means I can probably watch that sometime future. Yes. But, yeah, that's basically how it is. How it's going to go order next year when it comes to Tokusatsu shows? Well, at the finish of Jaspion, when I eventually put this series behind me, it's going to be, the order is going to be, it's going to be a Sentai, a Kamen Rider, another Sentai, a Kamen Rider, an Ultra series, Metal Heroes, and then our Sentai. That's kind of what we started up with. But King Onger, Kamen Rider O, and Return of Ultraman. Those three are the first ones to their respective franchises. Like King Onger for Sentai, O's for Kamen Rider, and Return of Ultraman for the Ultra series. Those are the first ones covered next year, but I'm very much looking forward to when I cover a lot of these other series. Yep. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and do the dislike button. Next up, we have is Bleach. And after that, Big Comic Corner. Okay? But do that video. Bye.